Well, how do we understand our own personality characteristics? The 48 Days Career Profile is based on material that goes all the way back to Hippocrates. He understood an eternal truth that we're really pretty predictable. So I'm going to take a few moments to talk about our personality distinctions. Before you can move toward work you love or relationships you love or a life you love, you need to understand yourself. I tell people 85% of the process of moving forward in the right direction comes from looking inward first. 15% is then the application. Now, we tend to look at circumstances or opportunities first and then try to make our lives work around those. But really, that's a recipe for frustration, if not disaster. Our culture teaches us to plan your life around your work, but I encourage you to plan your work around the life you want. Finding the life you love and the work you love is a very individualized process. There's no one test, inventory, or coaching process that will narrow down to just one and only one right job for you. But we can use some critically important tools that will help you avoid the wrong ones. The 48 Days Personality Report is one of those important tools. Many people base a career direction simply on the fact that they have the ability to do something well. Unfortunately, I've found in years of personal coaching that many of those people do something well and yet are miserable while they're doing that very thing. I've seen lots of attorneys, physicians, pastors, and dentists who have proven their ability to do their work, but at the same time, they hate doing it every day. So the 48 Days Personality Report is going to help you look at your behavioral characteristics, how you relate to other people, what kind of environments you are most comfortable in, how you manage, persuade, and lead. This will not be looking at your ability, but we find that behavior is a better predictor of where you will function with success than raw ability. Now, this is a foundational report that I require from every personal coaching client I work with. Not only will the report give a clear description of the best working situation for you, it will also give you a clear list of potential matches for your career choices. And no, we really didn't talk to your mother. It's just that we all tend to be pretty predictable. The DISC, or D-I-S-C system, is the universal language of observable human behavior. By learning these characteristics, we can increase effective interpersonal communications and therefore increase our understanding and acceptance of each other and our effectiveness in the workplace. Now, the letters, again, of the DISC stand for dominance, influencing, steadiness, and compliance. Now, you'll be ranked as high or low in each of these categories. The DISC is not a measurement of intelligence, skills, experience, education, or training, but rather DISC is the language of how we act and exclusively measures observable behavior and related emotions. Now, from a brief set of survey questions, a computer produces your report that looks at your strongest personal characteristics and how those translate into successful relationships and workplace behavior. There are no right or wrong profiles or answers. However, they do help us maximize a person's best contribution to the team. A Paul is just as valuable as a Moses, even though he or she may be much different to work with. Now, here's an interesting way to look at this. Computers have manuals. Why not people? Your 48 Days Personality Report is your operational manual. The software is designed to assess your individual strengths and possible limitations and to assist you in maximizing your effectiveness in the workplace. You'll find that while there are no good or bad profiles, you will be most comfortable and effective when you're using your strongest behaviors. People frequently share these reports with others who know them well and with potential employers. The report can help you convey your uniqueness and your value to the organization. Now, in the main report, you'll find a term that describes you. Mine happens to be chancellor. The report says that I'm determined and driven to excellence in all that I do. Hey, so far I like what it's saying. Oh wait, now it's saying I need to be more sensitive, be more flexible to others' needs, and let others share ideas and beliefs. Well, the computer can be brutally honest. But guess what? Anything we have as a strength, if overused, can become a negative. That's part of the power of this process. The goal is not to make you change necessarily, but to help you understand your natural behavioral tendencies. We want to see opportunities that allow you to use those strongest tendencies and find a match. Yes, there are plenty of ways to match your strengths with appropriate work environments. The reason 70% of Americans say they would change their jobs if they could is not because there are that many bad jobs. Rather, it's because those people have not taken the time to look at themselves and see how they are uniquely gifted, and then to look for work that matches those unique qualities. I hope this is going to be a freeing experience for you. I hope you'll see yourself with new eyes and recognize that you can be successful with any of the possible styles if you have a proper match for fitting work. The computer has matched you with a couple historical characters who displayed similar behavioral patterns as you. Don't you love being identified with someone of great historical significance? Could you do what that person did? Why or why not? Maybe you're underestimating the possibilities in front of you. The goal, again, is not to change who you are, but to recognize your natural tendencies and find ways to work and live in those strengths. Now, many people are frustrated in their work because they're trying to be something they're not. And unfortunately, many times, good performance in a job is actually rewarded by moving that person out of what they do well into something that is not a good match for their strengths. Now, this is described, you may recognize that phenomenon, it's described in a book many years ago titled The Peter Principle. There's a tendency in our culture to continue promoting people until they reach an area of incompetence. Now, this is not to say we should just be content at one level and never try new things. But if you know your behavioral strengths, you'll be able to identify areas that are a match, even as you're given new opportunities for advancement. For example, if you're a great salesman, you may not be a great sales manager. You may be much better off remaining in a position, even if a promotion is offered, where you would continue to have direct contact with customers and the thrill of closing the sale. Move through the explanation of the graphs. Look at how you relate to others. There's a lot of information here that should make the report come alive for you. You'll notice that a high D or I indicates more of an outgoing nature, while those high in S and C are going to be more introverted, more tendency toward being by themselves. Those high in D and C tend to be more interested in projects and tasks, while those high in S and I tend to prefer people and relationships. While there's no good or bad, right or wrong, any strong characteristics, if overused, will tend to work against you. So what about this? Could I really be a brain surgeon? Well, we have a career match in the report, and this is an exciting bonus we've created for you. Yes, no matter what style you seem to be, there are going to be many appropriate career matches for you. Jobs and careers that would embrace those unique personal characteristics we've been looking at. The power of satisfaction and success comes from matching your behavior with what the job requires. At the same time, let me add a word of caution here. This is not an exhaustive list of what you could do successfully. As a matter of fact, it's a very short overview of the best possibilities for you. Now, here's why. This list comes directly from job titles, much like we would find in the government's Dictionary of Occupational Titles. That's an unwieldy manual about the size of a small house, and it's just a listing of very traditional jobs. The kind where you show up in the morning, punch a time clock, get your paycheck, and go home. So these fall into very traditional employee-style jobs. You might be a candidate to transition into something more creative or non-traditional work that's not going to be on any list of jobs. But be encouraged. If you make great cheesecakes and want to sell them to the local restaurant, or you want to start a crop dusting business, those aren't going to be on any list. Many great opportunities today don't fit into traditional employee models at all. You might be a candidate for freelance work, consulting, contract work, or some other form of non-traditional creative or entrepreneurial work. Don't despair if nothing on the printed career list excites you. Just go back to the characteristics you've now clarified about yourself, and then get creative about what work you could design. You don't have to fit into any box. You now have the most important base of knowledge to move into or develop the work you love. So be careful about trying to find your perfect career on any such list. Keep in mind that a good fit will integrate more about you than just your behavior. You should recognize many things about yourself that will create patterns toward meaningful, fulfilling work. So use the information here to continue refining your best options, but don't limit yourself to a short list of any traditional jobs. Now, we also have a biblical career match. You know, I may be a Moses. This is a second component of these reports that we want to make available for you. Now, I was pretty excited to be compared to the Apostle Paul, who is known for being direct and forceful. My report says that Paul was a very powerful communicator. Every message he delivered was sure to leave its mark. Wow, I like that. You know, I find that encouraging, that rather than just justifying me being opinionated and brutally blunt, no, perhaps I can be like Paul, or I can be the coach and effective writer that Paul was. So check out your own matches. Look up the scripture references in the matches and read about yourself. Perhaps you'll find a model for your life, and you can be encouraged and inspired by the biblical character that you can identify with. So be confident that God has a plan and purpose for each of us, and we will be most effective when we are operating in the uniqueness with which He has created each of us. We're told no two snowflakes are exactly alike, and I'm certainly convinced no two people are either. Enjoy your uniqueness and express it in all of its positive possibilities as you minister in your work, relationships, and hobbies. Now let's recap. There's no right or wrong, good or bad here. There's only the opportunity to properly match your uniqueness with the right career choice. Every job requires a particular behavioral personality. The question is, will it match what you bring to the table? God never buries our uniqueness. His perfect plan will enhance your true personality traits.